Hi, this is Kabir Khan and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
We have with us blockbuster director Kabir Khan. His movie Bajrangi Bhaijaan is the only mainstream film that is part of Indian panorama at IFFI this year in Goa. Kabir, huge pleasure to have you back on Bollywood Hungama first of all.
Thank you.
And how does it feel that apart from all the so-called art films from across India, Bajrangi Bhaijaan is the only film which is part of the panorama?
Yeah, I mean, when I was going through the list, I realized that, and then in subsequent interviews, some journalists said, that it's the only mainstream film that's part of the panorama section. So, I mean, that is something that is very heartwarming because, apart from the box office collections that we've got, what was really special about Bajrangi was the kind of love that the film got. Figures are figures, but you can feel the love and affection that a film gets. And continuing with that trend, the fact that it's a film that's been selected for IFFI shows the fact that it's something that's really connecting. And this is something that I realized actually in Busan Film Festival in Korea when I went there, where it was shown to a completely Korean audience of 5,000 people in a screening, and the kind of reaction they gave was the way was what I got in Chandan Cinema in Bombay. Correct. It shows that it's connecting to everybody. I think the story is universal and it's touching people's heart, and I'm really happy and excited to go to IFFI and represent Bajrangi Bhaijaan there.
So you'll be there on 21st November.
Yes.
6:15 INOX. They're showing the film, and
correct.
You'll be there.
I'll be there.
Salman, will he be sending any message by any chance?
We are working on that. I guess Salman will be sending a message. I'll be there. I think Harshaali, the little girl, will be there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So we'll do a bit for the red carpet and present the film properly there.
Right. Okay, and what sort of association have you had with IFFI in the past?
No, not really, apart from the fact that one has gone there once in a while just to see some films or be a part of the festival. I've never really interacted much with IFFI officially. This is the first time. Mainstream cinema is not really part of the festival circuit, especially in our country. This is something I was talking about earlier, that because of the pressures of making a film with a big star, because of the pressures of coming on a certain date for that film, we tend to sort of just get captivated by approaching that date and releasing it. So we never give the film space to do, say, a festival circuit, because mostly a festival circuit is done prior to release. Most films do, like which I did, but my first film, Kabul Express, we did Toronto, London, Dubai, Busan, a lot of festivals, but that was all prior to the release. With a big superstar film, you can never do that, because the dangers of piracy, the dangers of things coming out. So it's nice that with Bajrangi I'm able to, I've done the big sort of blockbuster release, and now I'm being able to enjoy traveling with the film and showcasing it at festivals. So with IFFI also, I guess it is a bit of a first that a film that's been already released and done the rounds is being showcased there.
So what are the other festivals that you'll be taking the film to?
Oh, as of now, we've just done Busan. I'm coming back today from Cochin, which was a new festival took place. Yesterday was a screening.
Right.
And now
All Night Indian International Film Festival.
Correct. All Night Indian International Festival. So next is IFFI. There are a few queries from different festivals. We're just speaking to them because post Busan also a lot of festivals started inquiring about Bajrangi Bhaijaan. And let's see, maybe in the course of the next 2-3 months we travel a little more with the film.
We've seen that it's important that film festivals should be getting a proper backing from big stars and big directors as well. But with a movie like Bajrangi Bhaijaan, which is the most watched film in Indian history because of even in terms of box office, the number of footfalls are more than PK as well. Do you think that it gives a bit of an impetus to a film festival as well in terms of recognition and press and media?
I think more than that, it's important for a festival to have a good mix of films that engage and entertain the audience also. So to also include mainstream cinema, I think is a good idea, and this is something that we've seen in Toronto, we've seen in Busan, and that is I'm glad that IFFI is also including mainstream cinema, because it should not just become cinema which is catering to a limited audience. Of course, I think festivals must give a platform and positioning to cinema which is more real, a little more discerning cinema. But at the same time, we must also have in that package mainstream cinema that appeals to a large audience, and that will make the festival, I think, appealing to an audience. And at the end of the day, I've realized in all my travels, whenever I've gone to a film festival, it's the audience that makes all the difference. If there's a certain energy from the audience, that's what makes the festival special.
Now, I think you have the unique distinction that Bajrangi Bhaijaan, the television premiere, it's got the biggest TRPs ever in the Indian television history, and approximately 75 million people have seen it on television when it was premiered, which has never happened, and that is 3 times the number of people which have seen it in theatres.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? This is like another historic.
Absolutely, I think the television.
75 million is huge. In
It's
a country of
huge,
1.25.
because you're right. I mean, in terms of the fact that yes, Bajrangi Bhaijaan has the highest number of footfalls in theatres, but still, I think in through theatres we are able to access just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the audience. Unfortunately, the penetration that India has with their theatres is minuscule if you compare it to countries like China, for example, which has 25,000 screens for a big release as compared to 4,000 to 5,000 screens for us. Not even 5,000 actually, just 4,000 screens. It shows that we're not really reaching the audience. There are not many screens in smaller towns. It's all getting concentrated in cities. So television plays a huge part in taking the film and delivering it to a big audience. And the fact that a super release by Star Gold, I must congratulate the team. In fact, I was telling them the kind of publicity they did when the film was coming for the TV premiere was even better than what we did for our film release. And that led to them reaching out to such a large number. And more important, the fact that we've broken a record of TRP is the fact that we reached so many people. And I could see that. I could see a renewed spurt of messages and a renewed spurt of excitement about the film post the TV. So for me, it was like a second release of the film.
Absolutely.
It's a kind of excitement I got at the release of the film at the box office was repeated when it was released on television.
And it's I think repeating quite often on Star Gold now, very often as well. So in fact, I should just tom about Bollywood Hungama, because we were the ones who, when we interviewed Kabir Khan before the movie released, that he just disclosed that Sajid Naradwala says that 300 crore to kam se kam karegi in this office only. And then when the movie released, after that we just talked to him almost immediately, and we discussed the fact that it can just surpass PK's records in terms of footfalls. It did.
Yes.
In terms of it did. So that is the history of Bollywood Hungama with Bajrangi Bhaijaan. You've said at the festival yesterday that you chose to work with superstar Salman Khan and Bajrangi Bhaijaan because of his secular leaning, and he wanted to tell the film story from his point of view. How you spend a lot of time with Salman, and you just saw the entire atmosphere at his
What I
home
was
somewhere.
talking about, I was saying that, post Ekta Tiger, was spending a lot of time with Salman. I was chatting with him about various things, and that's when I realized that he has very strong opinions and views about certain things, certain issues, and one of them is about the whole secular fabric of India. And over the past 3, 4, actually for a long time now, we've been seeing that the social fabric of this country is being stretched, is being sort of tattered in places. So I was always thinking that he feels so strongly about this issue, but it's never properly been articulated in any medium. And when a superstar like Salman throws his weight behind a certain subject, a certain issue, then the reach is very wide. It reaches out to a lot of people. You can make a small film about such issues and release it. It becomes unfortunately becomes preaching to the converted. You don't really reach the audience that you need to. So that's why when I took the subject of Bajrangi Bhaijaan to Salman and he reacted so positively to it, I knew that this will be a significant film, especially in the context of today, what's happening in our country. To have a Salman which talks about a film which talks about tolerance, a film that talks about love across communities, a film that talks about bringing down artificial boundaries, not only in terms of India and Pakistan, but actually about the borders within. In fact, what is very important for me, I know that post the release a lot of talk was about Indo-Pak being shown in the film. For me, what was more important was about the borders within. And the first half of Bajrangi really deals with that.
Absolutely. The preconceived notions and
about each other and the intolerance that we're going through. So that is the reason I was really happy that Salman was so excited about the film and really put his weight behind it. He decided to produce it. It was the first production of Salman Khan Ventures.
Absolutely. We're talking about the secularism part of it, but somewhere the way we've seen certain incidents, be it the way it happened with Amir Khan post PK, that since he is part of a certain religion and he was just totally just torn apart. Same we experienced with Salman almost immediately after Bajrangi Bhaijaan when he tweeted something, and he was just presenting a point of view only.
Correct.
And the sort of protest that took place outside his house was definitely, I think, in a very bad taste. Even the way it has happened with Shah Rukh recently, just for giving an opinion about secularism, and the way it was told to him that he's a Pakistani and he's an anti-national and he should go to and Deshdrohi hai and everything, which was very, very, very extreme. And the worst part is that no one at the top really condemned that. Does it bother you somewhere?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a lot of talk has happened about this whole intolerance issue, especially in the past 2-3 months, with a lot of filmmakers protesting, historians protesting, and a lot of people saying that there is no intolerance. The fact is there is. And as a normal common man of India, I'm also perceiving it, and especially when we are in films and we're trying to portray something, I know the kind of hate mail I get, I know the kind of tweets I get, I know the kind of people who target me because of my Muslim identity, or target my wife because she married me. So we've seen all that. So to say that the intolerance is not there, it's not on the rise, is rubbish. It is definitely there. We've seen it in the case of the way, you said Shah Rukh was attacked and Amir and Salman have been attacked. And not just them, across the board, we are definitely seeing a certain section which is ready to pick up certain points and pick up certain issues and become pretty ugly and nasty about it. And they are pretty much, out of control. There doesn't seem to be any attempt to control these elements. It is time that people in civil society and people who have a certain weight in civil society, who when they say something have a certain weightage to it, have a certain opinion, form opinions, they must speak up about it. And I'm glad a lot of people are speaking up about it.
People like Kundan Shah, when they are just returning the national award, even a lot of other people, Dibakar Banerjee, the way he was targeted as well, and the entire thing that
what
comes
is
across.
What is really disconcerting is
tab kahan the jab wahan par
the problem is aap tab kahan the. That's ridiculous. It's like saying if you've not spoken up, then don't speak up for the rest of your life. You speak up when you feel you need to speak up. And obviously sometimes what happens is a lot of things lead up to your patience being tested and then you speak up. Secondly, a lot of fuss is being made about the form of protest. So it's not about a person giving back the award. Let's not discuss that. It's about what are they talking about. The core issue is what is it that those people are protesting about. They might do it by returning awards. They might do it by walking on the streets and screaming. They might do it by doing interviews. The point is to focus on what is the issue at hand. So you get completely go off in a different tangent when you just talk about the form of protest, not about what you're talking about.
Right, absolutely. Your father was in JNU, and you've seen a lot of stuff over there, but the way things are, even the way JNU is being called as well, it's like really unfortunate. I think quite a few of your movies have been centered around Pakistan somewhere. And this entire culture, the way it has been happened, the Ghulam Ali episode, and even quite a few other, the entire film, the actors cannot work in Indian cinema. And do you find it somewhere, because just hatred will only just breed further hatred?
It's completely unnecessary, and it's really it's rhetoric, and we keep saying it again and again. But we really need to keep culture and arts and any people-to-people exchange away from politics. Play politics at a certain level, but the moment it starts, coming into the way that people exchange ideas and culture, and musicians coming here or us going there, it really needs to be kept apart, because ultimately we will only move forward if there is more people-to-people exchange. Because when it comes to politics, unfortunately, I think we will keep sort of going at it for years and years to come. But I think what will really open up the two countries, what will really bring them closer, is if there is a lot of people-to-people exchange. Like in Bajrangi Bhaijaan, my whole point was that when a common man, not thinking of the politics of the country, but if a common man from the streets of Chandni Chowk goes up and meets a common man like Chand Nawab on the streets of Pakistan, there's bound to be, friendship and warmth, and that is very important. Unfortunately, the people-to-people exchange, the relationships between, the common man of India and Pakistan becomes victim of the politics that's played out. The moment there's a terrorist attack, the entire atmosphere gets so vitiated that nobody dares to even, extend a hand of friendship, because they know they'll get attacked by everybody.
Absolutely.
So that is very important, to make that distinction between who are the people who are carrying out those acts of terror, who are the people who are playing out this kind of politics, and the general public. That distinction is very important. That needs to be maintained in our minds. In the media, sometimes media also, I've seen, starts talking about us and them. That's unfortunate.
Absolutely.
It's not us and them. You can't look at a country as one big amorphous mass, and anything that's happening there, everybody is responsible for it. It's not. They are also suffering there. We are suffering here, and that needs to be. There needs to be a sense of balance in viewing these.
there's a strong sense of somewhere in a way nationalism as well. Especially we've seen in Phantom in the recent times. There is in Bajrangi Bhaijaan as well. New York, you had a certain point of view as well. You like making political cinema somewhere. Do you somewhere strongly feel that the definition of patriotism is being distorted, and that if you're not just adapting a certain line, you're being just roundly called anti-national? I saw one of your debates after the entire Shah Rukh Khan episode, and the way a certain gentleman called Rana Ayyub that you're an anti-national. So that is something, do you find it disturbing somewhere? That
it is disturbing, because what is happening is any sort of dissent is being looked as anti-national. So it's this line, if you follow this line, you're patriotic and nationalist, otherwise you're not. It's stupid. I mean, there is a big difference between being patriotic and being jingoistic. And we definitely need to be level-headed and, be able to look at perspectives with an open mind. You can't be following one strict line and saying anybody who's going off this line is anti-national. I mean, the word anti-national is being used today like anybody who says any form. I mean, we are in a democracy. Democracy is all about debate and dissent and being able to argue our points out. The moment you argue about anything which is against the sort of government policy, you cannot be called anti-national. God forbid your name is a Muslim name, you become anti-national and Pakistani. Where does Pakistan come into it? I mean, I don't understand. When Shah Rukh was talking about that issue,
of Pakistan tourism, actually.
He did not utter the word Pakistan. There is no reference to Pakistan. First thing is Pakistan chale jao. Oh, he's the same as Hafiz Saeed. What is that man talking about? I mean, either he's not hearing what Shah Rukh is talking about, or he doesn't know what Hafiz Saeed talks about. I mean, to make such absurd, ridiculous statements, and these are elected representatives of the ruling party. Right. So, and 2 days later, you cannot say that, they represent their own, private,
that's a very nice thing,
statement.
Actually. I mean, someone celebrates Godse's death anniversary and they say that they're not part of
They're not part of
that. That is something which is interesting. Coming back to Bajrangi Bhaijaan once again, the entire Geeta episode, the way it has happened, does it make you feel good? Because even I think Umar Abdullah has tweeted that credit where due, well done script writers of Bajrangi Bhaijaan, without whom our daughter Geeta would have spent many more years forgotten. Yes. And I think even I think politicians, I think they've been very graceful in the way they've handled the entire situation.
Yes. Definitely, we've always spoken about how mainstream cinema is a very powerful medium, in the subcontinent. But with this whole Geeta episode, I've realized that it really is extremely powerful. The fact that it can actually change a person's life. I mean, even one person's life gets completely changed. In the case of Geeta, her life has been completely changed because of Bajrangi Bhaijaan. So that, in a way, is an overwhelming experience, and makes you in fact feel a little more responsible for what you're doing in cinema.
Correct.
But I mean, it was definitely very heartwarming to see the way people from India and Pakistan on both sides of the border, they cooperated, the governments cooperated and sort of enabled Geeta to come back. In fact, I was watching it on television, and when she landed in Delhi, it was like, head of state arriving there with the ministers there, high commissioners there, and so it was great to watch Geeta getting that warm welcome. Having said that, I just hope that it all gets sorted out. There is still some I think work to be done in terms of identifying her thing. I hope she's comfortable here, because she was definitely very comfortable in Karachi.
Correct.
And that is something that we must applaud. The way she was being looked after, the way she was brought up was commendable.
The entire France episode, the way it has happened, and Beirut. You shot for Phantom in Beirut recently. You're still, I think, considering Hrithik Roshan for one of your movies. Salman is one of the options that you're having as well. But the entire the world order, the way it is changing right now, does it give you any story ideas for your forthcoming movies?
See, I always draw stories from what's happening around in the world. So definitely, headlines, newspapers, what's happening in the news, what's happening around the world always does whenever I'm writing a story, it finds its way, into my story. So obviously, if I'm doing something, say, which is based internationally, all these events do sort of find some resonance in my story. I haven't really decided what I'm working on, but if I am working on something that is connected to these subjects, all this will definitely come. I mean, the changing dynamics of world politics is something that is always, I'm deriving story ideas from.
Hrithik, you're talking to him? You've spoken
yes, I've spoken to Hrithik. I mean, see, of course, the point is that post, two successful collaborations like Tiger and Bajrangi Bhaijaan. Obviously, both Salman and I would want to work together. We have a great rapport. I think we've understood each other's, strengths and weaknesses, and form a good team. Hrithik is an actor that I've always admired and would definitely, is one of the biggest stars of this country. Would definitely want to work with. But ultimately, it's all about the script, right? So tomorrow, if I get a script that Hrithik and I agree upon and it excites us equally, I'll make the film with Hrithik. If it's a script that excites Salman and me, we'll work together. Then it's a question of the working out the dates and working out the logistics. But definitely, I mean, Hrithik and Salman are two stars that I would love to work with in the coming future.
Many people say that the way you've reinvented Salman as an actor somewhere is something which is very unique. Even I think Nawazuddin does not get as much credit as I think he should. I think he is fantastic in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even Harshaali, I think she's outstanding. We interviewed her running around here itself, so she could not sit. What is it that you look in an actor or a star that you want a certain amount of certain thing from that person? What is it that you look for?
I react to scenes and to performances at a very gut level. So I have the film very clear in my mind, and when I see a performance, firstly I don't like over directing. So my approach actually is, on the first take I try and stay away from the actors, and a lot of times the actors get very confused. Why is he not briefing? So what I do is I give a overall brief. I give a overall backdrop to the scene, where it's coming from, where it's going, what is the context, and then I try and stop short of saying how it should be done, because I believe that everybody brings something to the table, and sometimes what happens is that you might over direct and stop something coming from within the actor. Especially if it's say a smaller actor or junior actor, he might say, "Arey, director ne bola, let me not try something that I've thought of," which will be a great problem. So I always stay away, let them do it, and sometimes I bring something that I've not even thought of, but it really is appealing, and I say, "Okay, let's go with this line of thought." But if I feel that they're going off the mark and they're not sort of doing what should be done for the film, then I step in and I sort of direct. So Salman, for example, is a very spontaneous actor. He's always, with him, almost every other take has something new. So he gets bored if he's made to do the same thing again and again. So if you make him do 3, 4, 5 takes, he'll give something else, and in every take. So it always gives you more material on the editing table. Nawaz is somebody who I would never want to over direct. I'd just like to say, okay, this is the context. Now let me see, and then I sit in front of the monitor almost like an audience. Let me see what Nawaz is going to do, and I think that's the give and take between a director and an actor that really works.
Lots of speculation about the number of awards that your movies will be getting, both mainstream as well as national award. I think both Salman and Nawaz, I think, should be contenders as far as national award as well is concerned. So looking forward to that entire.
Let's see. I mean, that's something that I've really not thought about. And as and when I think the award season comes up, and if we start getting nominated, then of course I'll take
nominations, and I think they should be there. But Kabir Khan, lovely talking to you as always, and we hope that you had a wonderful time in Goa, and please keep on giving us such wonderful cinema and a lot of good message at the same time, entertaining.
Thank you.
Which is, I think, for me, I think entertainment as an audience is very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a very good time, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Faridoon.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.